Good day to you, Guyana, and welcome to another edition of Facing the Nation. I am Malika Ramsey. Thank you so very much for joining us. It is the second Friday in the month of November in the year 2018. I have to ensure that I get it right this week because we were doing some review, and apparently last week I said the wrong date without even flinching about it. But it is the second Friday. That means today is the 9th. It is Friday, the 9th of November 2018. I guess because we're going closer to Christmas and we're already getting in that mode and that spirit, I'm a bit excited. But I'm especially excited today because this is our final program before our local government elections, before we go to the polls to decide who we're going to put in office in terms of representing us at the community level. Of course, as you know, I am everything PNC, and of course, PNC is the largest political partner, the largest political party in the partnership, which is a partnership for national unity. APNU, yes, we're still a coalition government, we're still APNU AFC government, but for local government elections, of course, we are APNU, Partnership for National Unity. I like to take the time to remind you of that because people are still in the mode. I was talking with a colleague just a few hours ago, and she's like, Malika, nobody can go and vote for local government elections anyway. They're not as serious as general elections. I beg to differ because local government elections, and again, these are reminders because we've been teaching you for the past few months and weeks on this program, local government elections, without those elections and without proper structures in place, you're not going to have good, healthy, and clean communities. So these elections are very, very important. I want to remind you they are on Monday, the 12th of November 2018, when we will go to the polls and decide who we are putting in office to run and to manage and to collaborate with us, in a sense, to help keep our communities in wholesome states. Now, on our program today, we're going to have the final first past the post candidate for Georgetown. Of course, that is constituency number 7. We're going to be speaking with him in the first few minutes of our program, which means we left out other Georgetown candidates, Shonell Smith-Daniels, that's constituency 9, and Celestia Hall, I hope I have the pronunciation correct, from constituency 15, but unfortunately they wouldn't be here today. But rest assured, for those constituencies, those communities, their faces are going to be on the ballot paper. That is what is happening on the first half of our program, politics in terms of local government elections and so on. On the second half, Professor Griffith, Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, Professor Ivelaw Griffith. He's no stranger to this program, and he will be on our program on the second half of today, along with some guests, accompanied by some guests, very important guests, I may add, because tomorrow is the graduation, University of Guyana graduation, and it's very huge. That's when we put so many persons, so many students who have accomplished so much. We put them on display, not in a negative sense, in a very positive sense. So coming up on the second half, you'll be hearing from Professor Griffith and all those persons who will be accompanying him today to tell you about tomorrow, and not only about tomorrow again, but we always talk about the positive direction in which the University of Guyana is moving in. But for now, let's talk politics, and it is my pleasure to welcome for the first time to this program, Mr. Ivelaw Henry. Of course, yes, his namesake is Professor Griffith, but we're talking to Ivelaw Henry right now, and he is the first past the post candidate for Constituency 7. Welcome to Facing the Nation, sir.
Thank you, Malika.
All right. It's so great to have you. Again, I remind people that when it comes to local government elections, we use these moments as teaching moments. So just remind the viewers and the voters, the potential voters out there, the constituencies, the communities, that Constituency 7 would cover.
Okay. I like to preface my statement by thanking God for seeing me through one term at the main city council.
Okay, yes, you're also a sitting councillor.
A sitting councillor, because, without God, we could have achieved nothing. And exactly. I've come a long way. To be here now, to be one of the constituency candidates for Border. Border is a very, very strategic constituency.
Okay.
It's not populated, the largest populated constituency, but I think it's the most strategic. Because here is where everything happens, the commercial heart of the city. And the constituency's boundary goes around from the fire station in Atfield Street. It goes right down to Atfield Street. And then it cuts across at one point from one of the places. You have Austin Place and so on, and then it cuts across to South Road and goes right down to to Vissinger Road, and it goes across to North Road, comes right up past the St. George's Cathedral to the Demerara Bridge, to the Demerara River. And so that area is Constituency 7, with all those commercial activities that we normally experience in Georgetown.
All right, I want to get right to it. I'm assuming that you've been doing a lot of house-to-house activities as we go toward next Monday. What are some of the feedback that you're getting from residents in terms of, and this is even before we talk about positives and what was achieved. I want to know what are some of the things the residents want to call on APNU to do at this time and especially since you're a first past the post candidate. If you're re-elected, what are some of the things that they're asking to be done for their community in terms of development and upliftment?
The constituency voters, they would like to see, we have good roads now in Border, but they would like to see some speed humps in some of the areas. They would like to see lighting situation improve in Border, because this is something, is extraneous. Lighting is something that affecting most of the constituencies, and crime and so on. If you don't have good lights, we'll have the crime escalating. And they like to see the presence of people like myself more around. Even though I'm there, they would like to see you along, and to have access to you as your constituency candidate as much as possible. They would like to see that, so that anything prop up, they'll come to you. And I would like to tell you that I have an office that people
you
come
have an
to
office. Well, that is
in the constituency.
It is very important, not only for myself, but for the voters out there. It is very important that you would have mentioned that you have an office, because one of the things people complain is that, all right, the candidates, whether it be first past the post or proportional representatives, they're not accessible after election. Sometimes you have to go down to the council, and again, we know that it's not easy access there too. Talk about the location of the office.
My office is located at 243 Border Street, and I live upstairs, and my office is downstairs. And we have some other accessory factors in the office situation, where we have a printery, a small project adjoining my office, something that I started with a friend, so that he has gained employment through that effort. About 5 years now in the office, and it's very popular.
Okay.
Yeah.
In our prep conversations, one of the things you reminded me is that you're sitting councillor, and you've been from the time we had local government elections in 2016. Let's talk about some of the things. I mean, I know the first thing you said is that we have good roads now. Fact is, I think we are moving in a direction where we need to remember that community development and community growth not only has to do with roads, good roads, and lighting. What are some of the things you would have been able to achieve for the communities in that constituency, whether it be on your own with a team or as a councillor, sitting councillor in the Georgetown City Council?
One of the things we would have achieved is that apart from the drainage situation, there were some problems with the pavement around the Border Market. It was imploding. Every day we got complaint that somebody fell in the drain around Border Market. So we paved the drain. We paved the pavement around the frontal part of Border Market, along by the constabulary outpost. That area was paved during this period. And on the road itself, you had some issues where, manholes were not covered properly. We got them covered, and that sort of thing, right? The other thing is that there was a built-up kind of relationship between members of community. They knew me, and they gained access, and whatever complaint they had, they were able to come to me. And so right now we have a good rapport with people in the border area, in the community, for the entire constituency. So there is this rapport, this confidence that there is somebody at City Hall that they could actually talk with and so on, and resolve some of their issues.
All right. now is a good time again because you are the final candidate we're going to be speaking to before unfortunately the other two couldn't be here, but you're the final first past the post candidate we're going to be speaking to before local government, before we go to the polls actually on Monday. I'd like you to take this opportunity, and again, it's not just about your constituency, but why should Guyana rally around APNU and solidly vote APNU back into office in terms of community leadership come Monday, November 12th?
For me, I think it's the best party right now in Guyana. I think some of the areas that the APNU has gone into, other parties have not gone into. And I want to refer to like youth unemployment. You understand? I only last week I've listened to a former minister of government, saying that youth unemployment in this dispensation is 40%. But when you look back, this employment is a situation for all the governments of Guyana. It has bothered every government in Guyana. And in 1982, the unemployment rate for the youth would have been 72%. That is 82. In 92, it was 67%. And in 2002, it went to 57%. Therefore, if that former minister of government says now it's 40%, it means that the APNU has done tremendously. Unwittingly, he has given acknowledgement that the APNU government is doing well. In the same instant, we have had local government election for the first time in nearly 21 years. So in 3 years, the public could not say that we could have wrought all the miracles that it expected, but we have done tremendously well in 3 years. And we will do better in the next few years. So I'm saying here, as a councillor, we will move beyond drainage and irrigation. Somebody is saying that a council should not even talk about employment, etc. But if you go to the United States of America, any country, the councillors, one of the high point of their talk would have been generating employment in the local situation. So I'm saying APNU has been doing that. APNU has been looking at the youths and making sure that they get skills, they stay long in school and what have you. And it resounds in the community in which they live, right? That is one area. And the other point is that we have more and greater involvement of communities, people in the communities. And that augurs well for people. You see the number of young people now going forward for the local government election on Monday. Tremendous number of them.
It is indeed encouraging.
Right.
And of course, obviously, I can't vote for you because I don't live in that constituency. But viewers, I am full support, full member, full everything APNU. So I am encouraging those of you who reside in Constituency 7, in those communities in Constituency 7, to Monday go out and vote solidly for a partnership for national unity. And of course, solidly for Mr. Ivelaw Henry, who is the first past the post candidate. That means, again, this is an important reminder, his face will be on the ballot paper. Mr. Henry, unfortunately, our conversation has to be short today. Thank you so very much for coming. And of course, good luck to you.
Thank you, Malika, for having me.
All right, great. Viewers, this is Facing the Nation. I did promise you in the second half of our program, we will be focusing on the education sector as it relates to Guyana's highest learning institution, which is the University of Guyana. This is Facing the Nation. Stay tuned.